to Dan James. James to shoot.
Yes.
Dan James! That's a super finish from Dan James. Somerville dancing in. Oh yes! Somerville with a superb finish, and he made it for himself.
Good afternoon and welcome to Matchday Live, where it's Leeds United taking on Plymouth Argyle again. We'd love to hear from you today. Get in touch with your comments, your score predictions, your pictures ahead of the match in all the usual places, WhatsApp, social media. We would love to hear from you today. Joining me in the studio, a former Leeds United captain, DomMatteo, who was here with me, what was it, 10 days ago, whether it was Leeds down at Plymouth, and here we are again.
I know, looking forward to it, you.
Very much so, and it's, again, and we're saying it every game because of course they are, it's a big game when you think that Leeds managed to just nip themselves up into second place. Southampton winning last night, of course, just to pop us back down into third. Leicester coming at the back end of this week as well. This feels like a really important game to end this run of tough away fixtures that we've had and just real congestion of fixtures as well.
Yeah, I think, you know, the manager said it himself, hasn't he, in his press conference. Every game's crucial at the minute, and I think the mindset at the moment's key, and I think the players have that in abundance at the minute, full of confidence, but never get too far ahead of yourself. But I just think, I've talked about it, it's like we've got a good squad depth. The manager's not had to make too many changes yet again, so it's just like he seems to be getting everything right at the minute, in my opinion. And I think the players are buying into that as well, and I think the fans are loving it as well, and the way we're playing at the moment as well. It's don't get complacent because it's the Championship, so just keep doing what you're doing, keep doing them basic things right, and I tell you what, we're hard to play against. Any team will struggle against us.
Definitely on a roll at the moment for Leeds United. This match, of course, available in selected territories. You can scan the QR code or head to the Leeds United website for more details of how you can access the coverage from 12:30 today when we head down to Plymouth. The form you mentioned there, it really is stunning, really. 7 wins on the bounce in the league. I think it's 17 scored, 1 conceded. That's as good as you could possibly hope for the start of a new year. It's astonishingly good form.
It is. I'm glad you've got them stats, Rich, because I would never remember that. No, I think it's been outstanding, let's be honest. But again, let's not get too carried away. But yeah, let's be honest. The lads have done absolutely brilliant. They really have. And I think for me, is that consistency. We've always wanted that consistency back at Leeds United, and it feels like we have that. And you just talked about that 7 straight wins. That's incredible in the league. To get that is just the momentum going in the right direction for us. And again, away from home as well, we did struggle in a few games this season. And I think now, we're at the point where teams, even when we're away, teams are coming there thinking we need to have a plan, and they're at home, and that's for a Leeds fan must be great, going into every game thinking we're going to go there and get a result, because it hasn't been like that for a while. But I think the confidence is high, the players are buying into it, everything the manager's saying, and I think they feel that as well now. And there is pressure when you're at this point, there is pressure, but I think they're kind of enjoying that a little bit, because playing for Leeds United has always been pressure on the players, and it should be, because you've got responsibility. But at the moment, everyone's doing their job the way they should be doing it, properly. And I just think at the moment, we can't complain, can we? But this needs to keep continuing. There's a long way to go yet.
There is a long way to go, but it's exciting, isn't it, when you think the gap that was there when we were looking up and thinking, is automatic promotion, is it maybe out of reach? We looked at that start of the season, we didn't quite pick up the points, and then there was that Christmas period, and now you're looking at it, and to position themselves, and I guess you'll know what this feels like when you're on a roll as a team, when you've got some momentum going, you feel like we've got them here, we can hook them in here, and suddenly we find ourselves in a position where we were a significant amount behind Ipswich, we're now ahead of them, and it's neck and neck with Southampton right now. It's
incredible, isn't it? The Championship for me has been a breath of fresh air. No VAR as well, which is great. But I just think, there's going to be a few more of them where Southampton get the result, then we hopefully we get our result. That's the way it is. Ipswich are going to be trying to get there's a lot going on, but I think you've just got to concentrate on what you're doing, and I'm sure the manager will be saying that constantly. Just worry about us, do our job properly, and I think you then need your leaders within your group, to be the voice going out before the game, and when the game's going on, you need them voices, and I'm sure there is. Ampadu's come in and done brilliantly. He's taken the captain's role at the moment because obviously Coops isn't playing, but I think he's done a brilliant job, and I think he's got a calm influence around, and him and Rodan together, nice partnership, talking, leading by example. We've got players who can lead by example now all over the pitch, and that is key for me. I don't feel like we've had that for a bit, and now we've got them players. They've got to do it again today, mind, but when you've got leaders who are not taking any rubbish, or if people aren't doing the job properly, they've got people out there now who will say something, and that is key for you to get promoted or have an opportunity to get promoted. You need them players to dig people out when they need to. Yeah,
we'll head to Home Park in just a moment and get the thoughts of Bryn Law and Tony DeRigo, but before we do that, just very quickly, the team news, it's the same starting 11. We know that Pat isn't available. He was due to start the other day down at Swansea, but of course Joel Peru came in, scored a goal. Is that an easy decision for Daniel Farke? Go and do it again?
Yeah, for sure. I like Peru. He comes in, he gets chances, he scores his goals. He's very, very clinical when he gets an opportunity. But yeah, an easy change for the manager. But yeah, it's competition all over the pitch, and that's what we need. And I just think, again, hopefully when you get your goal, that gives you confidence. So you're going into the game today, I'll go and get another. That's what as a striker. That's exactly what I mean, not for me, because obviously being defensive, but that's as a striker, that's got to be your attitude. And we've seen that with Nonto. He's come back in, getting his goals. Confidence is key, and I think with Peru as well, he needs that as well. If he gets another goal, confidence again, and it gives Pat, if Pat's, gets himself fit, will he get back in the team? Competition is key.
Absolutely. Well, it's another long trip for the Leeds United fans who are there in their numbers, of course. Fourth time we've faced Plymouth this season, second time away, and Leeds looking for 8 wins in a row in the league. Let's head there now and get the thoughts of our commentary team, Bryn Law and Tony DeRigo.
It's Plymouth, it's Leeds away, so needless to say, it's pretty wet here in Devon. So the conditions not entirely ideal, but those who travelled down for the previous game will be more than used to that, I'm afraid to say. Team news, well, there's a familiar look to the starting 11. It's the same 11 that began the game against Swansea City in midweek after the little tweak that was required because of Patrick Bamford's injury. Again, as we've said before, Tony, it's good that we've got that level of consistency in terms of selection, isn't it?
It certainly is, yes. I mean, the boys are confident, they're playing well. They're going out there and saying, well, you can't drop me because we're winning games, we're keeping clean sheets, we're scoring goals, and individually, they're all really putting a shift in. So same again.
And Peru knows he stepped up to the plate in midweek, goal for him. He knows that as soon as Patrick Bamford's fit again, the pressure returns. So he's got to try and do his job again today, hasn't he?
And keep scoring it and keep doing what he's doing. But that's the same for everyone, around the pitch. And that's what certainly competition for places is all about. Having a squad that's deep enough to be able to put the pressure on those players in a good way and keep performing at a very high level. And everyone that's coming in is doing exactly that.
There were changes for the FA Cup games, but these two sets of players know each other very well by now, don't they?
They certainly do. What we also have to remember is over 90 minutes we couldn't beat them either time, so we know it's going to be a difficult match, but there's nothing new. We know exactly how they play, we know what this home ground is like, the fans are like, and I thought we came through extremely well once we made a few changes in the FA Cup. But it's going to be difficult. We have to make sure we understand it is difficult. It's a really valuable 3 points. We've just got to keep winning.
We sat in the pub last night and watched.
Did we?
The West Brom Southampton game.
Yeah.
And that's put a little bit of extra pressure on perhaps today, has it?
I think what's interesting is that whatever happened last night, we still would have had to win the game. So as players, the job is exactly the same. It's go out there and beat what's in front of you. Whatever else happens then, you always try and dismiss that. But we always have a look and see how the other teams are doing. Southampton played very well. It's now our turn to respond.
They've got a good home record, Plymouth. They score lots of goals here at home as well. But Leeds' away form recently has been excellent, hasn't it? And it will probably need to be again today.
It will, but just look at the numbers. 7 wins, conceding 1 goal, scoring God knows how many. Each time it's 3s and 4s. So the one thing you would say, we probably could have scored even more. So we're in a really rich vein of form. How long can that continue? Well, let's hope it goes right to the end of the season. But certainly Plymouth, every time I see them, I like the way that they play. They won't sit back. They won't try and keep it tight. They're going to come at us at the right time. But I just think with our quality, we play to that level again. We've set the bar. Let's keep it up there and we get the job done.
There you go. There's the rallying cry delivered by one Tony Dorigo ahead of this game against Plymouth.
And of course, Bryn and Tony will bring you the commentary from 12:30. Don't feel too sorry for them making the long journey. They were in the pub last night, having a great time.
I can't believe that. Tony, must have been a shandy.
We'll get confirmation. Let's talk about midweek, because that performance at Swansea, one of the questions that was put to Daniel Farke after the match was that a complete performance from Leeds United? And whilst a manager's never going to say, yeah, absolutely brilliant, we peaked, it really was a sensational performance. And I think one of the key things is they did it from the off, didn't they? They actually put that bed to game pretty quickly, which makes life so much easier. For sure, they started so well. And I think that's one thing the manager's probably been looking at. Because there has been a few games where have been a bit sloppy. Yeah, it is. Just looking through the goals here and the chances, we just got a lot of numbers in the box as well. And I think at times at home we haven't done that, but away from home here, look at the numbers we've got in the box here. Loads of them, 5-6 players, and getting opportunities. That's what happens when you've got that number of players inside your box, and anything can happen. And I think Nonto getting his goal as well. If you're a defender and you see Somerville cutting in from this position, knowing how many times he's done it this season, well, this one's a big deflection, isn't it? But you're thinking to yourself, you know exactly what's going to happen. No one can stop him doing it. No, incredible talent. Like you say, the player's not got tight. He's scared of him, actually. I think when you're playing against that kind of player, he's got the pace and desire to get in there. That's what happens. Take your chances. And he did. He just hit the ball and it's gone in, but we take them all day long. And then Pirro here with the second. Yeah, I mean, when he gets in there, Pirro, I mentioned it earlier, he's so clinical when he gets in. He knows exactly what he's doing. He strikes the ball so well. One of the best strikers of the ball I think we've got at the club, because you can see here when the ball comes into him, he knows what he's doing. He takes that little touch and guides it onto his favoured right foot. And again, Willie, brilliant little nutmeg there, if he meant that, brilliant. But then, you know what he's doing. He's got the pace on it. It beats the keeper. It was a wet surface, and he's just making the right decision. Willie Nonto, of course, with the assist, and then weighs in with a couple of goals starting here. And it's interesting. Root has been at the heart of so many of these kind of passes, but here you go, Archie Gray finds himself a moment, and what a ball this is. Yeah, I mean, Archie's just improving week in, week out. And to be fair, if Willie don't make that run, Archie might not play it. So it's a great run, but obviously great vision from Archie Gray. Such a young kid, but he's getting better. And I'm really pleased for Willie as well, because when he was out of the team, he got on with it and he worked hard and got back into the team. And now he's playing as well as anyone. You can see here, confidence, comes inside, lovely feet. And again, through the keeper's legs, but that's what you do. And when you do usually get them, that's what happens. And look at when he's on the ball here, Archie, look at this. He knows exactly what he's doing. And great way to pass. I always talk about that way to pass. It's so key in football. And for Nonto now, he gets in there and he just knows exactly what he's doing. Drags it onto his left. By this point, the rain was really coming down, which kind of suited our play a little bit. Yeah. And you were mentioning earlier when we were chatting about this, actually it looks like we like playing in this, but again, the weight of ball from Somerville through to Nonto. And Nonto's a player who, obviously this has been a difficult season in some respects from the start and everything that had happened, but you've got to playing with a smile, and you can just see it, can't you? For sure. Listen, when you're playing football with a smile on your face, you're doing something right, and the team's doing something right. And again, Somerville with the way to pass. I always talk about that all the time. The way to pass is key. And then Willie knows what he's doing. He gets into that position. He just hammers it into the back of the net. But it's quite another good team goal as well. That's what I've talked about. It's not 1, 2, 3 passes. We're taking 4, 5, 6 decent passes. Then when it comes into that final third, because we've got that pace, just allow them to go and do stuff. And obviously Somerville was ball in, way to pass,
brilliant finish.
We'll have a bit more of that today, please, if that's all right. Kick off from 12:30. Let's hear from the manager, Daniel Farker, in his press conference ahead of today's game.
Plymouth away again. What can you take from the previous encounters you've already had with them going into tomorrow's game?
Well, the knowledge and the experience, and also that we are pretty respectful, because it's a side who has a really good home record in the league. I think their last home defeat was back in October, so it's a really difficult place to go. And yeah, also the last two cup games, after 90 minutes, we were not able to beat them. So we know that we have to be at our best in order to give ourselves a chance to win the points in this difficult away game. We're traveling, obviously, with our run with confidence and also highly motivated to add the next point under our belt. But we also know that at the moment, at least, it's one of the toughest places to go. Otherwise, they wouldn't be unbeaten since October. It's also a pretty special atmosphere, so we definitely need again a top performance, and hopefully also, again, the backing of our traveling support. So in the last games it was second to none, and means so much also to the lads, and helps us also to be successful in this difficult away games. And would be great to have another amazing support from the Leeds supporters, because at the moment the games are coming thick and fast, and lots of load, lots of traveling, and for that we need also our supporters in order to help us in this type of games in order to win the points.
The Plymouth manager Ian Foster, I think, made comment this week about the fact that Leeds will have had an extra day. They played on Wednesday night, but when you compare that to the amount of travelling that you've had to do recently, do you think that maybe balances things up a bit?
Yes, I don't think we have an advantage. So it's more or less like it was also quick turnaround. You have also a few injuries. If it would be an advantage and we win this game, I take this, but I don't expect it will be easier for us. Not at all, because yes, when you have to travel so late, there's always like the biorhythm is not in the best place. You have to travel a lot, and sometimes struggling with a sleep. For them, home games, no travel at all. So I wouldn't say that we have an advantage. But if he's right, I take this, so no problem.
So it is Plymouth Argyle again. Last time around in the FA Cup, there was, of course, the game at Elland Road, and then the replay, which, went to extra time. We were sat here, we were doing that game, and it was a difficult one to break them down. They scored the goal to take it to the extra time. Yeah. But then in the end, we did manage to break them down. And we actually broke them down pretty quickly and sent a bit of a signal that we can do the business when need be. But it was Willie Nonto who opened the scoring here.
I know, and I think when Willie got in there, it's a brilliant finish, by the way. Looking at that back, great strike. And I think they just kept going. They had a bit of a game plan. They got, could be pull them out for the defensive side there, maybe, but they got the goal and they got themselves back into it. But in that moment, we were probably well in charge.
Yeah, and there you go, Somerville again coming in from that position.
I don't know why when you're playing against Somerville, you'd put him straight on his left foot, wouldn't you, on his left side all the time. But hopefully no one sees that again. And it's a brilliant finish. He knows exactly what he's doing. He guides it in, and then it comes into Somerville again here, and a lovely little touch inside. And it's a kind of, I think he means to put that right in the corner because he has to, otherwise he ain't going to go in. But somehow he gets this little delicate touch. Maybe the keeper could have done better, but for me, it's a great finish and someone who needed the goal.
And the own goal there at the end just kind of sealed it. I mean, look, it's a game that they would have wanted to have settled within the 90 minutes. It was an extra 30 minutes they probably could have done without, but they did show in that period just almost like a little warning sign to Plymouth for this game, saying, we can do the business. Be warned. Yeah,
I mean, listen, like you say, Whittaker, who plays for them as well, is a good player, and I think he's the one that they'll probably look to today to try and get him on the ball, make things happen. But for us, again, it's about how we approach this game. If we approach it like we approached the last few games, we go and win the game. If we don't approach it properly, because they've got a good home record, as we've mentioned, they'll have a go and they'll fancy their chances. But it's about scoring first in these games. I think if we score first, their heads will drop and the confidence will come from us, and then we go on and get the result.
in this incredible run of 7 wins in a row. One of the hallmarks of that has been the defensive record, as we mentioned earlier, just 1 goal conceded, and a man responsible for a lot of that, although sometimes not as busy in games as maybe he has been in previous seasons. But Illan Meslier between the posts, making sure that goal is protected, and LUTV caught up with him to get his thoughts about this stage of the season so far.
On Tuesday night, another fantastic performance against Swansea. How close do you feel you are as a team to sort of hitting the absolute highest you can do in terms of a performance, or do you feel there's a lot more to come from the team even still?
Like you said, it was a great performance, but also we are always trying to reach small details, and to avoid, any possibilities that we can concede a goal. So that's, always the top performance that we are looking for. And we know that we have great games who are coming, and we are just, looking forward to play those games, to see how it will be, against those teams. So, yeah, it's nice, and but yeah, each game are so important. Each game are 3 points. Doesn't matter the opponent, and yeah.
The defensive record has been so strong this season as well, and I know you'll probably say that you defend as a team, but you've had to make some big saves, Elland, and I just wanted to understand your mindset in a match where we're dominating the play so much, we're scoring loads of goals. How do you stay focused when you have to be called upon and have to make those big saves?
Yeah, of course, it's huge changes, to compare the last season. It's not easy, to be honest, also, but I'm very happy that since, especially since 2024, we are in a good mood to, keep clean sheet, and also, personally, making the right save, at the right moment to keep the clean sheet and avoid, the opponent that can come back into the game. So it's something that I really want to continue and pushing hard, because it's very important, and it's very nice also for myself to keep progress. So yeah, it's just very pleased to having a strong team, a strong defense, and of course, when I need to show myself, I'm ready.
And it's Plymouth again this Saturday. It's unusual to play a team 4 times in a season, Elland. But how much do those previous meetings come into this one, or is it a completely sort of fresh game for you?
Yeah, we played them 10 days ago. Of course, we beat them, but after extra time, I think this time we want to beat them, in 90 minutes and not in 120. So we will do everything as possible. We know what we have to do. We know the matchup also, and the players more than ready to travel down to Plymouth and bring back the 3 points.
Well, you know how to beat them, and I suppose that's important. You know a little bit more about this team than you maybe do other opponents.
Yeah, sure, because it will be the 4th time, so obviously, they don't change a lot. So that's why, now it's not cup game, it's league game. So, we still having a high motivation to bring back the 3 points.
That save against Leicester's getting me excited for Friday night, but we're not there yet. No. We've got a big game coming up in just a few moments. Dom, on the issue, the situation of playing a team 4 times, which is so unusual, does that play any part going into this? I mean, from a Plymouth point of view, are they thinking, come on, we don't want to get nothing against this lot throughout the whole season? For Leeds, there can't be an air of complacency, or, well, we've done it once, we can do it again, or we've done it a couple of times. What is the approach?
Well, listen, it's never easy, I think, when you're playing against someone that many times. But again, I think concentration levels are key at these moments. And I think, obviously, Ilya talked about that. And, his concentration level have to be bang on in these types of games, because we'll be so good going forward, but then we have to. He's made them saves at the right moments for us. And again, he's going to have to do that today.
Let's get a score prediction from you then, Dom. How's this one going to end up?
Well, my son's gone 3-0, obviously for us, and I've gone 3-1.
3-1, all right. I know you like Whittaker.
I do.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
3-1, Dom saying, let's see how this one pans out. A really, really important game for Leeds United. We'll get the thoughts of Tony Dorigo and Bryn Law, your commentary team. But before we do that, we were waxing lyrical about his pass for Willie Nonso just the other night. Here's the thoughts pre-match of Archie Gray.
Well, Archie, another long trip for you. Have you travelled well as a group?
Yeah, definitely. We got the plane, so not as long as the fans that are travelling down now on the bus. So yeah, not as long as it should have been. So yeah.
The ambition remains the same as it was on Tuesday, as it was last weekend, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Just focusing on the next game, and we've got to focus on this game now. And you know, they're a tough team, and over the last 90 minutes, we haven't been able to beat them. So they're a good team. We've got to focus on this game a lot. So
yeah, you both know each other as teams really well by now, don't you? Does that make a difference to how today goes?
Maybe, yeah. It depends. You know, we both played each other 2 times in the last 2 weeks, so we know each other very well and our play styles. But you know, it all sort of goes out the window when you go onto the pitch. You know, you don't remember exactly what you were doing about 2 weeks ago or a week ago. You know, it's just another game, and just need to focus on that. So yeah.
Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
So here we are, home park, Leeds, another long trek south and another championship fixture that means so much. And the one thing you can guarantee, Swansea in midweek, Plymouth Argyle away in the FA Cup in midweek, Bristol City away on a Friday night. The away end is completely full, and that is the case again for this 12:30 kickoff UK time for those travelling Leeds United supporters, some of whom have left Elland Road at 3:30 a.m. Quite incredible, ridiculous kickoff time, frankly, for a fixture that separates the two clubs by 330 odd miles. But they're here, the Leeds fans are here from all over the UK, of course, but some have had a very, very early start and a very, very long journey indeed. So the aim of the exercise for those in white out on the playing surface in front of us is to ensure that it's a successful winning trip for those travelling fans. That's been the case so far this new year. 2024 has begun with 7 straight league wins, but the pressure falls back on Leeds again this lunchtime as a result of Southampton having won at West Brom by 2-0 last night, moving back into second place in the table. So Leeds have got to keep the run going if they want to get back into that second automatic slot. Every game is a pressure game.
Yes, it certainly is. At this stage of the season, it is all about just winning those games, getting across the line somehow, banking 3 points and moving on. And in 2024, we've been rather good at it. We really have. But here we start afresh. It's 0-0. And the team and the other half of the pitch, well, they're desperate as well to put one over on us. So yet again, we have to rise to the challenge and try and play to our best and get the job done.
Yep, 4th meeting so far this season. I say so far, there can't be any more, can there? Well, technically I guess there could be, but we won't talk about that. 4th meeting between these two teams. Leeds were here for an FA Cup replay, was it 12 days ago, and came through ultimately in that one, but should be remembered that at the end of 90 minutes that was all square, as the first meeting in the FA Cup had been at Elland Road as well. The league meeting between the two, Leeds came out on top. But they've got a good home record, Plymouth Argyle. They've won 8 of their championship fixtures here so far this season, much in contrast to their away form, where they've only won 1 game on their travels away at Swansea, a result that Leeds more than bettered in midweek. Swansea beaten by 4-0. But Plymouth are decent. There's a good crowd inside the ground. They're going to be relishing this one, aren't they, as a big game. This is what their championship return is all about.
They really are, and you just heard the rendition of their songs as well before the game. Everyone's standing and belting it out, so they're up for it. The players will be up for it. We, no doubt, are up for it as well.
It's another misty, murky day. It's not unduly cold here. Tony has only 3 layers on. That tells you that we're almost at spring.
I may have made a mistake, Bryn, but okay, let's stick with the 3.
But wet it most certainly is. Once more, a familiar feeling in terms of both home park and midweek away trips recently. Leeds with a quick start here. Gray is on the edge of the penalty area, trying to cut the ball back for Somerville. It's intercepted before it gets to him, and Leeds United end up with a throw-in in an advanced position in the Plymouth half. Gray,
that's a really good start, wasn't it? Absolutely, but you just saw there, unfortunately, Archie Gray tries to pull it back, instead just whip it in nice and early, but confident start on the ball, dictating play.
Rodon back to Meslier. And Meslier back out to Joe Roden. Leeds defending the end behind which the travelling fans